Hi, kindergarten friends. We have our read aloud today. Before we have our read aloud, I wanted to remind you that writers write to make the world better. They can 1, see a problem, 2, think about how to fix the problem, 3, read a lot, and 4, decide who to show their book to. And that's going to be important because when we read our read aloud today, I want you to be thinking about what problems you think that this author is trying to fix. So this is a book called Say Something, and it's written by someone named Peggy Moss. There is a kid who gets picked on all the time. I think he's sad. I think he is sad because he keeps his head down when he walks in the hall. And he hardly ever says hello. I don't pick on him. I feel sorry for him. There's another kid in my school who gets teased. He gets called names. When he's moving through the halls, kids push him and tell him he's slow. I walk on the other side of the hall. I don't say those things. A girl who rides on my bus always sits alone. Some kids throw things at her and call her names. The girls who sit behind her laugh. I don't laugh. I don't say anything. One day my friends were out and I had to sit alone in the cafeteria. Some kids came over to me and they started telling jokes. I laughed until all the jokes started to be about me. My face burned. I looked down at the table. I sat on my hands to keep them from moving so much. I tried not to cry, but it was hard not to cry. And when they saw my face getting wet, the kids started to laugh. I wish I could stop crying. I wish I could disappear. When the kids left, I looked around the cafeteria. I was surprised to see the cafeteria was full of students. There were even kids I knew sitting at the table right next to me. They were looking at me. I could tell they felt sorry for me. When I went home, I told my big brother I was mad at the kids at the next table to mine. He shrugged and said, "Why? They didn't do anything." "Right," I said. On the bus the next day, I sat next to the girl who always sits alone. She's really funny. Oh, let's pause really quick and see what's happening. So we just read all these pages that talked about different people in her school that she's noticing who are sad or get picked on, right? And then one day her friends start making fun of her and she gets sad. But then the people sitting at the other table next to her table, they don't say anything. They don't stand up for her or anything. And that makes her feel really sad. And her brother said, "Why? Those people didn't pick on you. They just didn't say anything." And then this girl, she's starting to think about it, right? She's starting to think, well, I know they didn't pick on me, but someone should still stand up for me. And so now, look, that's the girl who was sitting alone on the bus. Now it says that she, the main character, is sitting next to her, and she's keeping her company. So then it says, do you think you can make a difference? And it says, you can. If you are being bullied, speak up. If someone's not being nice to you, say something. If someone seems lonely, don't just be sorry for them, but go over and be friends with them and keep them company. So when we think about this book, what do you think this book is trying to teach people? When I read this book, I thought, you know what? Next time I see someone who's alone, I'm not just going to feel bad for them. I'm going to actually go over and be friends with them and keep them company and help them feel better. I'm going to do something. I'm going to say something. So it's starting to make me think maybe the author who wrote this book, maybe she saw some people not standing up for other people and she said, hey, I think that's a problem. And then she started standing up for people and she thought about how can she get other people to stand up for them. Oh, and then she thought maybe I could write a book and convince other people, persuade them to stand up for other people too. And then she wrote a lot and she sent it out and a lot of people read it. And now people like me and you, we can read it and we can say, oh, I know how that character must feel. Now in real life, I'm going to go and try to make sure I keep people company if they seem lonely. So this author did a great job at persuading people. She told a story that made people want to change, that made people want to be better. I want you to be thinking some more. What other books do you read that make you want to do better, make people want to change?